Sha, do that to my Rolls Royce.
Sure. And sometimes it can be confusing to you if someone decides to walk even though you're giving them money.
I think it's a human trait where people would want you to be almost at their same level.
Welcome everybody to yet another episode of Just Saying.
Just saying.
Just sassing.
Thank you very much for liking, for subscribing, and thanks for supporting us. Thanks for being there for us and for sharing and for commenting. It's really appreciated. My name is Melo or Tavi, and I got Costa the creator and Ash.
Yo.
Disclaimer.
So before we start, disclaimer. All right, Costa, could you give us the disclaimer, please?
Allegedly.
Just allegedly. So everything is alleged.
Yeah.
So technically, you don't get you in court.
Allegedly, this is advice.
Yo, we're not your pastors. We're not your mamas. You're not your dads. We're just some dudes who've gone through the mill of marriage and have come out certified. And they've got some stuff to say. You can take some of it with a pinch of salt, or maybe even a handful of salt, but we're going to say it anyway. We're just saying.
I love that, man. Thanks, Ash. Yo, these disclaimers are quite important because you have no idea how people love to quote and say, remember, I learned this from Costa, I learned this from Ash, and now I'm doing this because of, come on, man, come on. Ask your mama, ask your papa, they'll give you the best advice.
Yeah, man.
So, today's topic.
Today's topic is money over creativity.
Yeah.
Would you rather be rich and overrated or poor and respected in the industry?
So depend. You know what it is?
Yeah.
No,
you know what happened?
I do not
I
want to
I got asked that question straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. Straight up, I got asked that question by a person who was because as often in this industry, in creative industry, we move around a lot. Like we are pieces on a chessboard. You'll find that I have worked at almost every agency, and Tavi's worked at maybe 3 or 4 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this is how it is.
Yeah, we've been around.
Yeah. So, but then the my question from this one of these guys wanted him when I was telling him that I need to leave. Says to me, dude, would you rather be? These are the words he says. Would you rather be miserable, broke, or happy? He asked me that question flat up. Like, this is what I'm offering you. I'm offering you a chance to be whatever, even though you're miserable, but you're in broke.
Yeah.
Or
do you know what?
Or you're happy and you're in Budirir. What's your choice?
I think there's the best places in between, because
that's what she said.
Yeah.
Sorry. I couldn't miss this opportunity.
Pan Master Flex. So I think somewhere in the middle is the best, because if you remember from the Horrible Bosses episode, I think I said something like there's a point where I thought just because you're paying someone, you feel entitled to their time.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be confusing to you if someone decides to walk even though you're giving them money. And sometimes it might be good money and someone chooses to walk away. I think that says something about nature, the nature of us human beings, in that I think money serves as a motivator up until a certain point.
Certain point, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when your needs are met, you can pay rent, and I don't even think the bar's that high. You can be exactly what you said, being budiro and happy.
Or in broken and miserable.
I think for me personally, I think I would love for my life to have a little bit of joy.
Yeah. Because that's what life is made of. It's the question is what money over creativity, right?
Do you rather be respected or broke?
Respected and broke, or
rich
and what?
Rich and overrated.
Rich and overrated. You see, for lots of the rich and overrated people have got so much influence.
So not overrated. Like, what does it
mean? Overrated is I remember like, okay, I'm a pop culture fanatic. And then growing up earlier on, I used to be so much keen on the so-called keeping it real creatives. Those that would always shout out, hey, it's not about the money, it's not about the money. But now that I'm old, I realized that was just a marketing gimmick. They were also selling. A lot of these guys actually do sell. Remember those debates where people say, who's better, Peter Ndlovu or Benjani or Moses Chunga, right? And Benjani, with all his success, I know success is relative, but he does have the influence, and he made the money, and he played the toppest of the toppest flights, soccer. The guys in the streets never gave him the street cred or that respect, because they always used to say he's not as talented. So would you rather be a Benjani or a Moses Chunga?
Right. Well,
I'd rather be a Benjani. Now that I'm old and I understand how things work, because he is talented, and screw what other people think. He understood where the money is and how to make certain decisions to make his career go to the next stage. Without the whole "I'm keeping it real," tagline.
I see.
So we're basically technically saying the Kardashians are mentors.
Oh, snap diggity damn. We went there.
Yeah.
Two, bruh.
Okay, I wouldn't call them a mentor.
No,
okay, for me, I would call them a mentor.
According to your overrated, according to your overrated definition, they fit.
They fit that. Yo, can I ask a question?
With me, they do. I wouldn't call them mentors, but they do.
They okay. When I think they perfected the maybe them and maybe Paris Hilton perfected the art of being famous for being famous.
Yeah.
You get it? Like, what is it? What
remember, Kim was actually a prodigy of Paris.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? What makes? Can I ask? What is it that makes us watch them like for hours when Wachitas are readers?
I think some watch them, and then some are addicted to the news about them, but they don't necessarily watch them. Like for me, I don't think I've ever watched a single episode.
Like to sit through and say, right, I'm watching the Kardashians.
We'll probably be able to tell you the current affairs based off what happens on Twitter.
Right. She broke that dress or some shit recently, right? She broke the Marilyn Monroe dress.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Yeah, but
as a headline.
Like what the other girl was saying on Daily Show, like, why you put like 2022 booty in a in a 60s dress from a white lady, man. I mean, as Shanti. Yeah, I know Paduga. Now, the whole thing about creativity over. Okay. How did olden day people just get on with their lives. Because Anana, you don't. Do you think? Da Vinci had the same problem?
Yes.
You think so?
Okay, sorry. Just explain that. Just like
Okay, Da Vinci.
the
I'm
question.
saying the question is like, do you think the creativity was okay? Do you think the creativity Yana Da Vinci had didn't matter whether or not they had money or not? Did they need money?
Yes.
Did they need to?
Yes, they needed money.
Okay, in their time, were they rich enough to be okay?
No, I don't think so, because you see, there's I'm forgetting the term. You see, these artists would need. There's a specific term. I'm just forgetting the name of the term.
Or a sponsor,
like a blesser.
Like a blesser.
So,
I eat a certain piece.
Not just a certain piece.
For maintenance.
Yes.
And they up.
Yes, I guess it was like a Patreon before Patreon.
Right.
Like patrons or whatever. So these guys, like I know these guys on the Medici family, do I sponsor Anna Da Vinci. So his sculptures, his paintings, and sometimes because it's like a person like that you can use their work as political gifts. You know, where this person is not producing work for anyone and is very renowned.
Yeah.
So now Kanziwana gift Yabaguna Tabi only makes work for Ash.
Yeah.
So then now you're getting this gift from this renowned artist. I think they had the fame but not the money. I think Wanohazo Tanga Tamari probably Ana Picasso.
No, I think they had the money, but it's still the same even with nowadays. It will always be a small percentage that actually makes the kind of money that you're talking about, where it's now beyond influence. But I think they all had some sort of influence, like the example you gave about the gift and so forth, and how this was called the Raphael, or this was called those guys had the influence and the power, because thanks to their influence, they could live lovely. They could stay in castles. And
like some of these guys, they were paupers.
Yeah, go.
No, some were, but and it's still the same
if
about
I'm not
modern
mistaken,
day artists.
who's that guy who cut off his ear?
Picasso.
No,
Van Gogh.
Yes.
Van Gogh.
Like
Van
some
Gogh,
of these guys died poor.
but he wasn't that poor, right? Remember,
Relatively
he wasn't from a poor family.
Was he?
He just didn't sell as much, and he squandered his trust fund. Then his sister ended up using her share to sponsor him. So remember what you said about how art was very expensive. It still is, but these days it was more expensive.
Look, this guy,
because for you to actually get a paintbrush
on Wikipedia, before you even click, it says Vincent William van Gogh was a Dutch post-impressionist painter who posthumously became one of the most famous and influential figures in Western art history.
Yes.
To me, that kind of implies that, Mbiri Agazoya iye asisipo.
So tell me something now. Now that I've got another question for y'all.
Yeah,
it's related, but I don't know. Okay, we're talking about creativity over money, right?
Yeah.
Has that bridge not been gapped? Closed by NFTs?
Creativity.
I think the thing is, that's where I was getting at, Ash. That history has a way of repeating itself, but now because of more education, and we've got access to lots of information, the modern day artists, now there's a higher percentage of those that can actually make a certain living. So yes, things like NFTs and so, but it's still not
just
everybody
explain those
can sell an NFT for 5 million.
Just explain those. How do you actually
look? I think it's rare. It's
still rare.
Yeah, it's extremely rare.
Yeah, that's why even it's still the same with getting a level. Yana Little Wayne. It's still rare. As much as TV makes it seem like It's not rare.
You can do anything if you follow your passion.
Yeah. It's still, and I like okay, anyway, we're on Van Gogh. I've just gone online.
Uh-huh.
He was not poor. They actually said he received financial support from his brother, who had been appointed manager of the Persian branch for the group art dealership. And in the first few years, he received an average of 100 to 150 francs a month, which was a lot of money those days.
Yeah.
The only thing is he didn't sell. So he could still do, that's why he managed to do all those tons of paintings, because it was expensive to do a
Yeah,
painting.
but that, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Someone else was sponsoring, he just was not selling. So all that didn't sell. So Da Vinci now was like a Jay-Z, who discovered early that, hey, wait a minute, I'm not gonna be like flipping, hustling for all this. So he was calculative in all the things he did. That's why even his paintings are not that many. You'd focus also on inventions and this and that.
There's a lot
He
of
was very
unfinished work.
Yeah.
strategic.
He's got the most
Yeah, he even
expensive
used to
piece
beat
of work,
other
right?
artists for being too gouache.
The 400 million winner.
Yeah.
It's still 400 million.
I think so. It was
Yeah.
sold for 400.
So there's this Jay-Z line. Sorry, this topic reminds me of this Jay-Z line. It's on So Appalled by Ye. I think it's on that Twisted Fantasy
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
So he says, I went from the favorite to the most hated, but would you rather be underpaid or overrated? This line woke me up to the reality of I never used to be a Jay-Z fan like through and through.
Yeah.
I think Ashley used to like you'd break down every single lyric. Yeah, Jay-Z when we're growing up. And then my boy Ronnie. And I would always be like, what's so special about this guy? Because I would align more to the Nas type of artists and so on. I still do, but people like Jay-Z, I would always think, they're too braggadocio and so forth. But now as he matured as an artist, I get where he was coming from. Sometimes we like to, I don't know what it is, like the whole Moses Chunga thing. He's a great soccer player and all this stuff, but we glorify the whole keeping it real.
Yeah.
And then those that are disciplined and focus on the money, like Pinjani, we then think, they're not, but I think they are happier. And I would rather be that kind of artist.
I think it's a human trait where people would want you to be almost at their same level. Kuti ndikunzwisise wana. When you when you start talking about do you know there's some very, very successful Zimbabwean soccer players?
Yes,
I'm
very.
talking about
that are
when
in
you're
France, in
big in
Germany.
that.
Yeah.
That anzano you msheki. Was it dear? Ugu south. Name. Msheki. Msheki. Big remulu yeah man.
Yeah.
It's
It's amazing.
It's not even comparable to some of the English
It's
Premier.
not.
Premier League.
It's not.
Serious.
That's how
Wow.
hectic his money is. But you don't really hear about him.
Yeah.
And he's not too much of a party boy.
Yeah.
All he does is take care of his family, and he gives a lot of his stuff to his family, and Dovano, he lives through them.
Families.
But then
So
you see
to
that,
somebody else, he could actually be overrated.
yeah, he probably is. Maybe probably people think he is, but he's taken his talent to. It's now China, yeah, China, and they're giving him money galore.
You know what? For me, honestly speaking, I would rather be on a nice ranch somewhere, getting paid.
Getting paid, yeah.
He's one of the richest footballers in the world.
Imagine that.
Wow.
And he's a Zimbabwean dude. Yeah. And I don't go to see. You don't really talk. People don't really talk about him because what happens is that if you're in the limelight, that's when people know.
But then also, I now feel like just thinking about it, some of these things are manipulation tactics, where it's like people paint a picture of what is good, the people who are pulling the strings or puppet masters, whatever, they create an image for you to aspire towards, and yet laced in it, they are some hidden flaws.
Mm.
You know, it's like with our banking system. This is an example. No matter what you're doing, as long as money is moving, government's taking its 2%. So people can, encourage you to transact, because every time that money is just crossing over, they're getting their 2%. And then it's not like they necessarily care about what they are
being spent on.
what it's being spent on, or so they'll encourage like there's so much consumerism. To me, it doesn't even make sense. Why are we releasing an iPhone every year?
There's no real need for
like
that.
what, and
What's so different with the last
exactly, and even with
one more megapixel than last year.
Exactly. When you look at the M1s and the M2s, the MacBooks, I'm like, okay, does it even make sense? I get it if you wait like 3 or 4 years, there's like leaps. But even now, if you look at the phones from maybe 3-4 years ago, maybe the improvement has been in a longer battery life, but they're marginal.
Yeah, they're much.
So bringing it
The
back,
cameras, we don't even use them as much as we
yeah,
should. So
yeah.
why get an iPhone 13?
So bringing it back to this, I feel like sometimes we're just pushed to desire things that we don't actually desire. Living a life that doesn't actually make us happy.
Yeah.
Just because there's someone somewhere hidden who's making something every time you cross that threshold, going forward and going back, they are making their cut either way.
Yeah, it's the
because you can be happy whilst you're in Budiriro.
Yeah,
You can
you
be.
can. It's your
You really can.
Yeah,
But that wheel that those puppet masters like
yeah.
Costa
It's like
say,
they're trying to
make
get
us
rid
feel
of
like we're
contentment.
not happy.
Making you feel like if you don't have if you don't have the 3-plate stove, you won't be happy.
No.
No, is that
Exactly.
no, is it a 3-plate stove?
Yeah, I remember those ads.
Aiwa.
But with a 2-plate stove, you're okay.
Aiwa. 3-plate stove knows how to do. It's the new iPhone.
No.
Man.
The new
Oh,
iPhone.
that's what you mean. That's what it is.
Those are not our
I'm thinking of those old adverts.
no, man. It's Kunogu, man.
Oh,
Chicks will be
plan.
telling you I don't date. You can have that
exactly.
3-plate
So
stove.
you're not happy because you don't have that 3-plate stove.
And do you know what? Also, I feel like these standards are robbing people of joy. You are in a place where you've got a guy or a chick who respects you, treats you well, but just because they don't have the thing that someone told you that they need to have, and you've raised, and I feel like you find a lot of relationships. This is why probably Shaddai is also popular, because he's kind of speaking to things that some people identify with. You know what?
Shout out to Shaddai.
Yeah. And I feel like this whole consumerism is the whole problem. You can be happy. Kuna umwe ananga atori kumusha where they're happy. Yeah, they're happy. But then when we then come and even where do you stay? Or what do you drive? Measuring each other based off the things we have. And it brings so much sadness.
Yeah.
And
you see, if the thing is, the sadness comes from the fact that you don't even know how to use the damn thing.
Yeah.
You don't even know how to. You don't even have a Google account or an iCloud account. But I would take an iPhone.
Yeah.
iPhone 14.
It's that whole.
But if you see
that Tupac, that old Tupac.
Yeah, the disclaimer is this: there's some people who actually genuinely love the stuff, which is good. Genuinely,
which is good.
But can I John and
remember that old footage where Tupac, I know he was like years ahead of his time when he was dissing, the Jackson family and Donald Trump and all this stuff about why would you need 18 bedrooms when you only sleep in one bedroom.
Yeah, but
You've
that
got
is
5
being
or 10 cars,
hypocritical.
but you
How
only
many
drive
chains
one
did
car
he
at a
wear?
time.
As how many chains did he wear?
How many rings did he have on his fingers?
Then we
I'm sure he made it.
then we go back.
But it's stuff like that you think about sometimes that
Then we go
you
back.
only get 18 bedrooms because Ashley has got 16.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah.
you think, let me outdo Ash.
Yeah.
Then we go back to the El Clasico. Sha do that to my Rolls Royce.
Sure.
I'm just talking about that clean.
On that note,
Yeah, on that note, we've come to the end of the episode. Do what thou wilt.
Yes.
because
for
you
real.
only got
You know
one
what,
life.
that-
You only got one life.
I only have one life to live.
Yeah. Just
Remember-
try not be a dick. So that you go to
Yeah, that's all. That's fine. Not to
Remember to comment, like, share, subscribe.
subscription.
Yeah, and remember, allegedly,
Alleged.
allegedly,
Allegedly.
We're just
yeah.
We're just saying.
Okay, cool.